Hello students, it's your favorite professor, Professor Lorenzo, and this tutorial is about run-on sentences. What are run-on sentences? Run-on sentences are strings of multiple complete sentences without sufficient punctuation to make them readable. What this means is if you're using run-on sentences to write an essay for a class, then because you haven't used the proper punctuation or you haven't strung the sentences together properly, then your professor can't read it, which means you're going to get a failing grade on an exam. If you're writing letters or emails to friends or families that are full of run-on sentences, then they won't be able to read it, which means you won't get your message across. And if you're doing it, maybe say as a cover letter on a resume, trying to get yourself a job, if you're using run-on sentences, guess what? That cover letter will not be readable, and unfortunately, you probably will not get that job. So how do we fix run-on sentences? First of all, let's take a look at an example of two run-on sentences that I received from a student a couple of years ago. So this one has one extremely long run-on sentence, and then it's got another one which is shorter. But as I read along, I think you'll get an idea of what it's like for a reader to be submitted a run-on sentence by someone. Today I felt by coming to school today, I felt pretty good. It's the first day of my college career. Some parts inside of me, I felt a little nervous, but in my mind, I felt good, ready to learn and to give it my best in today's class. Professor Lorenzo talks to us about he has his own business. He's a writer and sounds like a great teacher. Wow, that was a lot. As you notice, I could not pause. I think I paused one time only because I couldn't get any other words out, but it just kept going on and on and on. And because it's so long, I don't even really understand what he's talking about. I know he's came to school today, and maybe Lorenzo's a great professor. Lorenzo's a great professor, which everybody knows that, of course. But I mean, it just went on and on and on. Quite frankly, if you did this on a cover letter, I could tell you right now that your prospective employer would immediately put your resume to the back. You may get a little slack if you wrote a letter like this to your grandmother, but if she used to be an English teacher, she'd probably give you some problems also. Let's take a look at this second sentence and see if it's as run on as the first one. Today was a good day for me. I see my friends today, and I felt pretty good today. Was a great day for me. So that is a run-on sentence, mainly because it's just repeating things. But again, it's just very difficult to read. So how do you fix run-on sentences? One way is to separate sentences. You can use proper end marks to turn a run-on into two or more complete sentences. End marks or end punctuation marks would be a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. Those are the punctuation marks that are used to end sentences. A period, an exclamation point, or a question mark. So here's a run-on. It took a long time to get to the beach. My sister and I were thrilled to see the blue skies and giant waves. Here's the fix that this writer did for that one. It took a long time to get to the beach. My sister and I were thrilled to see the blue skies and giant waves. Or this other way is to combine sentences by using a comma and conjunction like and, or, and but to combine sentences. If we remember, we talked about this earlier. We coordinating conjunctions are our fanboys, which is for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. Let's try to keep that in mind. But let's go back here. So combine sentences, use a comma conjunction like and, or, and but to combine sentences. So here's the run-on. We love looking at the scenery. We love watching the dolphins surface. So how did they fix it? We love looking at the scenery, and then they added the coordinated conjunction or fanboy and watching the dolphins surface. So we love looking at the scenery and watching the dolphins surface. Now this is the first one is the first fix with the punctuation is usually a preferred one. This second one is, you still have a long sentence, but if you add a conjunction in there, it makes it easier to read. How to avoid run-on sentences. So here's an incorrect one. My niece is a smart baby. My niece is a smart baby. She learned to speak at the age of 1 year and 6 months. Instead of making it in one sentence, you can make it into two separate sentences. My niece is a smart baby. She learned to speak at the age of 1 year and 6 months. So you corrected that run-on sentence. Use a semicolon instead of the comma. My niece is a smart baby. Semicolon. She learned to speak at the age of 1 year and 6 months. Or you can use a coordinated conjunction between the two sentences. My niece is a smart baby and she learned to speak at the age of 1 year and 6 months. Again, keep in mind our coordinating conjunctions when we're talking about fixing run-on sentences. Let's take a look and see what Dave from Khan Academy has to say about run-ons and comma splices.
Hello, grammarians. Hello, Rosie.
Hi, David.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Today we are going to talk about run-ons and comma splices. So a run-on sentence is what happens when two independent clauses are put together in one sentence without any punctuation or coordinating conjunctions like and, but, or. So, Rosie, what is a good example of a run-on sentence?
We bought nails, we bought a hammer.
Yeah, so we can see that this sentence contains two individual independent clauses. So we've got number one, we bought nails. Number two, we bought a hammer. Now there are a couple of different ways we could make this a legal sentence, but right now as it stands, this is a run-on, right?
So there are a couple ways we could fix this sentence. One way would be just to add a semicolon in there. So you've got two independent clauses.
We bought nails, semicolon, we bought a hammer.
Right. Another way you could do that would be to just add a comma and then the conjunction and. So you're connecting those two clauses.
So this is a run-on sentence without this and this comma, and it's called that because it's sort of like a runaway train.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have enough stoppage in it. That's how I would put it. So that's what a run-on sentence is. And now I want to talk about comma splicing. And the word splice, not a super common term if you are neither a sailor or a film editor, but splicing is a word that originally meant to take two ropes, untangle them, and weave them back together. It's a sailor's term related to rope lines. In our case, for grammar, a comma splice is an inappropriate joining of two independent clauses by using a comma. So, Rosie, this is Little Tony, Crime Fighting Pony.
Right.
So, for example, in this sentence, I love Little Tony 2, Pony Up to the Streets. It's my favorite movie in the Little Tony franchise. Very fine series of non-existent films. The problem with this sentence is that right now it's got this comma in the middle of it. And this comma inappropriately joins these two independent clauses. Oh, and this whole time, I forgot to say, two independent clauses inappropriately joined by a comma. So we've got independent clause number one. Remember, this thing could stand on its own as a sentence. I love the name of this movie. I love Little Tony 2, Pony Up to the Streets. That could be its own sentence on its own, ended with a period. Period. It's my favorite movie in the Little Tony franchise. Period. But we have these two independent clauses, right? We cannot join them with just a comma. We could say, I love Little Tony 2, Pony Up to the Streets, comma, and it's my favorite movie in the Little Tony franchise. Or, as we did in the previous example, we could also throw in a semicolon, which is, I think, what I would rather do. I love Little Tony 2, Pony Up to the Streets, semicolon, it's my favorite movie in the Little Tony franchise. And Rosie, you will notice that I have underlined these titles.
Oh, yes.
Because these are the names of published works.
Right.
Even though we made them up.
Exactly.
But for real, I would love to see like a Little Tony Crime Fighting Pony series.
Totally.
So to review, when you're looking at a run-on, you're looking at two independent clauses that are together in one sentence that are joined inappropriately without punctuation or conjunctions. So we bought nails, we bought a hammer. There's not really a place to know where the division between clauses is in that. And so the thing to do is to add a comma and a conjunction, or to combine them using a semicolon. The same deal with a comma splice. It's just that a comma splice is a run-on that hasn't been fixed all the way.
Right. The comma is being used, but we need some bigger punctuation in place of the comma, something like a semicolon, in order to make a distinction between those two independent clauses.
So that is how you identify and fix run-ons and comma splices. You can learn anything. David out.
Rosie out.
All right, now let's take a look at that piece that I showed you up front. The student submitted to me, and let's see if we can fix this. Okay. So today I felt by coming to school, I felt pretty. So today I felt by coming to school today. So that's got a couple problems. Let's get rid of it today here. I felt by coming to school today pretty good. Period. It's not good grammar, but we're not worried about grammar right now. We're just trying to fix the run-on. It's the first day of my college career, comma, and then we'll put the coordinate conjunction in there. And some parts inside of me felt a little nervous, comma, but in my mind, I felt good, period. Okay? I'm ready to learn and give it my best in today's class, period. Professor Lorenzo talks to us about he has his own business, comma, and he is a writer. I'm sorry. Let's go back up a little bit. Has his own business, comma. He is a writer, comma, and he sounds like a great teacher. Today was a good day for me, comma, and we'll use a coordinated conjunction because I see my friends. We don't need today again. And I felt pretty good. Period. Today was a great day for me. Oops. Excuse my mistakes, students. Okay, so let's read this. I felt by coming to school today pretty good. Period. It's the first day of my college career, comma, and some parts inside of me felt a little nervous, comma, but in my mind I felt good. Period. I'm ready to learn and to give it my best in today's class. Professor Lorenzo talks to us about he has his own business, he is a writer, and he sounds like a great teacher. Today was a good day for me, comma, because I see my friends and I felt pretty good. Period. Today was a great day for me. And let's read this again without me saying period and comma and everything. And we'll see how much better it sounds than the first time we read this. I felt by coming to school today pretty good. It's the first day of my college career, and some parts inside of me felt a little nervous, but in my mind I felt good. I'm ready to learn and to give it my best in today's class. Professor Lorenzo talks to us about he has his own business, he is a writer, and he sounds like a great teacher. Today was a good day for me, because I see my friends and I felt pretty good. Today was a great day for me. And there you go. We just fixed the problem of a long run-on sentence. Great. So hopefully you learned from this. Of course, if you got any other questions, just give me a holler. And you know what, students, keep learning and have a great day.